All right, so now let's look at the Bitcoin D side of integrating Tor. So right in the main Bitcoin repo, there's a Tor README. Uh, but being somewhat new to Bitcoin Core and not being super familiar with Tor, um, I found this a little hard to understand. So I've reread this like 15 times. Um, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. The configuration I'm going to use here is, I'd say, likely to change as I learn more, or as hopefully I get feedback from people and they tell me the things that I don't understand or the things that I'm being stupid about. Um, but so this first section is talking about running Bitcoin Core behind a Tor proxy. So, what really matters here is that we're talking about anonymizing outgoing connections from your node, from your Bitcoin Core node. Um, and there's a bunch of different configuration settings, but this is the most helpful part. In a typical situation, this suffices to run behind a Tor proxy. So, to anonymize our outgoing connections, we just have to say proxy through. So proxy just means it's like a relay essentially. So all the traffic is going to go out through this proxy, which is our own local machine. So that just points back to itself, but through port 9050, which is the Tor port. So we're basically routing all of our outgoing traffic through Tor, which will then anonymize it so that when we send a transaction out through our node, like let's say I'm a big whale and I've got 100 Bitcoin I'm going to move, um, I can send that transaction through my local node, which I've just set up. It gets sent out through the Tor network. And then once that transaction hits the Bitcoin network, it's been made public, but nobody can then trace it back to my IP. So it's an extra layer of security. Now, there's other issues involved to ensure as much privacy as possible related to that transaction, but at least on the transmission part of the process, um, this outgoing Tor proxy should protect my IP address so that they can't link it back to where I am geographically, and can't connect it to other transactions or other activity I've logged from this IP address. So that's the first step, and so that's just for outgoing connections, and then things get a little harder to understand from there.